a revolting development. And what a switch for poor Talbot. It just goes to show you what happens when you get too caught up in your work. Don't worry, though. I'm sure he never knew what hit him. So remember, boys and girls, safety first. How was that for a scream, boys and ghouls? Oh, don't worry about little Carrie. This particular Santa preferred older women. In pieces, that is. Well, it just goes to show ya. Be very careful what you ask for Christmas. You might just get it. There. Nice kitty. Get! Hope you enjoyed our little bedtime story, kids. Alas, poor Ulrich. Miss a bet. Though dying for dollars could have been a popular game show, they could have put it in between Wheel of Misfortune and the newly dead game. Unless they buried it in the wrong time slot. Poor Sylvia, kiddies? Guess you heard the old saying, if looks could kill. So she did. Just goes to show you, if you want to sell yourself, take a look in the mirror first. Well, see you next time, boys and ghouls. Talk about family traditions. All you bouncing bachelors out there, a word of warning. Before you take that matrimonial plunge, check out the bride's background. Open her closet door and see if any family secrets fall out. Beware of skeletons, unless they're yours truly. I guess Jonas learned that a hobby can be very self-fulfilling, as long as you're not too stuffy about it. So until next time, I want all of you to sit, stay, play dead. Good boy. He did buy the big one, and that Charlie, what a cut-up. Still, he wasn't sad in the end. You see, when Charlie got his just desserts, he requested seconds. And now, I predict the future. Next week, you'll be in the same time, same place, same station, for another hideous, hateful haul of horror. Poor Carlton. Looks like he blew it. But no pain, no gain. I like a body that's nice and strong. It's your lucky day, fella. We want to pump you up. I've heard of giving someone the finger, but this is ridiculous. But at the risk of going out on a limb, I've got to hand it to Crebus and Forney. They do anything to elbow their way to the top. Dinner time! Well, Psyche can work that old black magic on me anytime she wants. And how about Maggie? Girls like that are pretty hard to dig up. Anyway, looks like poor old Logan's got himself a zombie. I think I'll have one too. That's what I call dragging your wife to a party. I guess Richard was the guest of horror after all. Just goes to show you what can happen when you let your imagination run away with you. Here's to your bad health. See you next time, boys and ghouls. Ah, wasn't that romantic? Blah! I would have called tonight's fear fable a boy meets ghoul story. Except the boy was the ghoul this time, right, kiddies? Which leaves poor little Stacy fresh out of boyfriends. Oh well, I'm sure she'll dig one up somewhere. Excuse me, kiddies. Be with you in a moment. So this is suicide? Somehow I thought it'd have more punch. Oh well. At least Jim's big finish had a bright side. I hate to see a guy throw his life away without some dame getting a laugh out of it. So remember, if your ladies' evenings are all booked up, do what I do. Drop her. Well, headbangers, wasn't that one a real smash? I know it was for Miss Kielbasa. As for Marty, he was right about that noise in his head. He probably wished he was deaf, but he got death instead. Well, until next time, Fright fans, ears looking at you. That young lady certainly knew how to make her point. But what a shame for poor George and Louisa. They thought they had their labor problems all sewed up. But Mary Jo formed her own union with the Scarecrow. And just when George was going to reward Mary Jo for all her hard work with a big bonus. Now that is definitely not what you call safe sex. Tune in next week, kiddies, for another terribly traumatic tale. What do you say, folks? Billy deserves a big hand, don't you think? Sheesh, the things some folks will do to get ahead in show business. Oh well, Next time somebody tells Billy he's no dummy, he can say, "Wanna bet?" I still think diamonds are a girl's best friend. You'll be glad to know that that witch gave up door-to-door sales and joined the Peace Corps. Poor Donald. You can't really blame him. He was only trying to give his marriage a shot in the arm, and in the leg, and in the head. Sometimes I crack myself up. Until next time, kiddies. Pleasant screams. Well, looks like old Ezra learned raising a teen is no walk in the graveyard. Now he's going to need one of his cheap coffins for himself. That's what he gets for having a name like Ezra. As for poor Bobby, he got a pretty nasty case of athlete's foot, didn't he? I mean, I've heard of footloose, but yikes! Oh well, I guess the next best thing to making a goal is becoming a ghoul. Right, kiddies? Well, how's that for a sappy ending? Was it a little too graphic for you? Oh well, next thing you know, Jim and his new gal pal will be walking down the easel together. I guess you learned that life imitates art after all. As for poor Mildred, she learned that death imitates art too. Maybe if she'd been nicer to him, she wouldn't have ended up a monster piece. Oh, sorry, kiddies, but that story just makes me go all to pieces. I was a cute little terror tyke, though, wasn't I? As for Enoch and Myrna, I guess you figured out by now where I get my good looks. Old Two-Face was my daddy, and the mummy was my mommy. Oh, if they'd only lived long enough to see me become a star. We never even got a chance to play hide and go shriek together. Where's Houdini when you need him? Well, that was quite a scream, wasn't it, kids? And what a surprise for poor Dr. Trask. There's a villain with a heart. A cat, that is. Just when he thought he was going to silence Susan forever, she walked all over him. I suppose you're wondering what became of Susan. If you give me a scream, I might just tell you. Oh, that Horton. He's a real swinger. He hangs out at all the right places. No wonder he's such a hit on live. Or is it dead TV? Well, maggot meisters, how's that for a cheeky little tale? Frank sure picked a deadly time to sever all thighs with his brother, and poor Eddie suffered the unkindest cut of all. A real split personality. Finally, the kid gets the upper hand. Or should I say, the upper paw. Just when Mom and Pop were about to satisfy their sweet tooth, Theodore decides to wolf down something besides sweets. Well, that's all for now, kiddies. As one cow said to the other as they headed off to slaughter, till next we meet. Good old Edward. He should have stuck to sending MASH notes. Maybe then he wouldn't have ended up in a state of holy deadlock. So, was it good for you too? Ooh, talk about head over heels. Poor Diggs. Here today, leftovers tomorrow. Boy, talk about flipping someone the bird. Personally, I'm with the buzzards. Except I like my meat a little more well done. Cook 'em, Dano! Poor Lou. I bet he wished now that he'd gone for the term life. Even a life term would have been an improvement. Although you gotta admit, he's never looked so juiced about his future. So what do you say? Can I interest you in a policy? The benefits are great, but the screamiums will kill ya. Tisk, tisk, tisk. And Carl thought he was the family's practical choker. Wanna play doctor? Then open wide and say, "Ah!" Bravo! Encore! Well, Barry asked for the part, and he got it. But typical Barry, they still couldn't use his face. It's just as well. The critics would have cut him to pieces. I'm calling my agent. I waited all my death to play the part of Yorick. So until next time, kiddies. Hello? I'd like to speak with my agent. What do you mean he's in a beating? Ooh, talk about being headed off at the pass. We've got a guest, kiddies. Whoopi, it's a pleasure to meet you. I want you to know that I loved your movie, The Killer Purple.
That's color purple, Cryptkeeper.
Oh. Right, well, congratulations on winning that Academy Award.
Well, thanks, but it's actually called an Academy Award.
Whatever. Look, it's a pleasure to meet a big star like you.
Now, you're a pretty big star. I mean, I'd love it if you'd be in my next film.
Really?
Yeah, it's just a bit part.
I'm flattered.
But you don't know what bit I want.
Well, as long as I don't wind up on the cutting room floor.
Okay.
It's good to see two lovers so batty about each other. Now that's a relationship they can sink their teeth into. As for me, I've got to get back to work. Exams, you know. I hear the finals are a real pain in the neck. Not that I'm worried or anything. So far, all my marks have been perfect. Well, Sharon's croaking is sure to leave a very bad taste on Jack's palate. What a shame she turned into such a Mona Lisa. You know, kiddies, some artists prefer watercolors, others prefer oils. But me? I prefer finger painting. Ah, well, poor Sebastian. A brilliant career going down the drain. As for the kiddies, Josh gave up on making movies. Seemed he didn't have the guts. And the others, they became lawyers. Must have been the taste of blood. After all, they were certain they'd gotten themselves a killer. I mean, who wears shoes like these except a killer? So until next time, see you later, alligator! Pretty tasteless, wouldn't you say? I guess in the end, Mr. Sweeney learned not to go digging into other people's business. Although you'll be happy to hear he's found himself a new career. As a ghostwriter. So, still hungry for dessert? I hope you like cannibal soup. It's, good. Now that's what I call sushi roll. I guess Liz was right. A good man is hard to find, especially after he's been chopped into so many pieces. Well, kiddies, I've got a little chopping to do of my own. It's my producer's birthday. He's always wanted final cut. And that's exactly what he's getting. Poor Charlie. I bet he wishes that he'd killed the story instead. Perhaps now they'll let him write for the paper's horoscope column. Care for another drink? Or should I just put a head on this one? Well, looks like Janet and Abel have become rather attached. Talk about being stuck on each other. I guess the next time Janet wants to cable up, she'll be a little more careful about it. Anyway, I've got to get back to my game. What do you know? Pa for the corpse. I guess Martin finally learned his lesson. No guts, no gory. Well, gotta go, kiddies. It's time for my shots. Fire! Yes, yes, oh yes. Boy, I get a bang out of that. Now that's what I call a happy ending. I had a feeling Effie would win Howard's heart, not to mention his spleen, his kidneys, and his gallbladder. So, will there be anything else? I love a ghoul who gives you head, and then lets you keep it. How about that, George? Talk about connecting with your friends. There, finished. So what do you think, kiddies? Beautiful, isn't it? I've always wanted a swing set. Just a little something for when I'm hanging out watching the news. See you next time. Now that's what I call well hung. Well, Nick might have been the group's guitarist, but Danny turned out to be the real Axeman. Still, you've gotta like where the band is going. Any day now they'll be appearing on America's Top 40. So, till next time, kiddies, me and my garage band have got a jam. You know what they say, you're never too cold to rock and roll. Well, maybe Al and Benny will finally get it together now. After all, 2 deads are better than 1. As for Sham, it turned out she was right. Her husband was cheating on her with a zombie he'd met on a business trip out to the Ghost. In the end, I decided to let Sam handle things her own way. Go ahead. Slay it again, Sham. Good old Helen. Talk about an opening night! Now that's what I call a horrid body. Well, I gotta get back to my workout, kiddies. Ooh, I love that burn! I suppose it's a little too late for Gaston to save face. Talk about a flesh in the pan. I guess that's what happens when you butcher money where your mouth is. As for me, kiddies, I say it's time for taps. Till next time, restaurateur in peace. You'll be happy to know that Dr. Getz did get another radio show, though he was much more careful this time about screaming his calls. I'm feeling so much better. You were right, Doc. A little smotherly love was all I needed. So till next time, kiddies, I'm sending my shrink to join the others. You know what they say, the morgue the merrier. Talk about a sick shooter. Who'd have thought being a cowboy could stir up so many bad feelings? Well, kiddies, I've got to go. There's a ghoul rush on, you know. I wonder, who was that masked man? Well, that certainly gives new meaning to the term burn rubber. As for me, I've got to get back to work. The group has decided to do something classical. We're trying to choose between A Midsummer Night's Scream and Julius Caesar. Care to watch from Hackstage? You know what they say, kiddies. The slay's the thing. Well, kiddies, I guess that's knife in the big city for you. Boy, do I feel sorry for Margaret. Looks like it's just one dead-end job after another. You'll be happy to know that I made a sale. The negotiations were fierce. But after I threw in a couple of acres, the rest was easy. There goes the neighborhood. I guess old Venal Vic thought he could double his fun and his bank account. Too bad he was only half right. Oh well, it just proves the old saying. Behind every bad man, there's two women. With a chainsaw! So, kiddies, care for a little maim of chance? Deads I win, tails you ooze! Well, Coco may have been the puppet, but in the end, Joseph was the one who paid for Marionette. As for me, kiddies, it seems my pain in the neck was more serious than I thought. But I'm almost finished with my scarapy. One more adjustment, and I'll be out of here. Anytime you're ready, Bones. Now that's what I call pain in full. Poor Loci. Thought he was starring in La Boheme. Turned out he was second lead in Romeo and Juliet. I hope you're not cultured out, kiddies, because the next part of our program is a little pas de die I've been working on. I hope you like the choreography. Whenever you're ready, Isadora. I guess it's back to the corpse du ballet for her. That Cynthia's a real shrieking violet, wouldn't you say, kiddies? A regular afterlife of the party. Didn't know I was a Boer Scout, did you? Well, I am. My horticulture scarret badge requires me to plant crocuses. A shame, really. I'd much rather plant hybrids. Good old Judd. Just another satisfied ghostomer. I guess it's true what they say. The family that slays together stays together. We come now to one of my favorite items. The amazing Cryptkeeper Slash-O-Matic. It's more than just a knife. It peels, it cuts, makes fabulous French fries. It slices, it dices, it... Ooh. Talk about a pain in the apps. That's love for you. Eerie today, gaunt tomorrow. As for me, kiddies, my shift's up. It's the top of the hour. Time for your favorite morning man. What's the matter? You've never seen a shock jock before? Now that's what I call romance. Boy gets girl, boy loses girl, boy gets girl and goes to pieces over her. You'll be pleased to know, kiddies, that things turned out pretty well for Bobby. She got herself a job and started modeling for Victoria's Secret. Beautiful. Beautiful. Turn your head a little more toward me. Just a little more. Little more. Ah, perfect. Yummy. I sure hope Nabonga ate it all. You know what they say, kiddies. A mind's a terrible thing to waste. Maybe she saved some for breakfast and had it in a brain muffin. I'm afraid it's going to have to come out. Oh, yes, it does. Now put your head back. Open wider. Wider. Got it. They don't call me the Tooth Scary for nothing. Shame about Billy and Virgil. But you know what they say, kiddies. 2 deads are better than 1. And as for Bird, he stayed in the ice cream business and did very well. Everyone loves Ben and Scaries. Well, I gotta get back to my practice. Next week we're playing the Washington Redskins. 45, 22, 33, hut, hut, hut! You idiot! I didn't call for a handoff. That Barney's my kind of guy. He comes up with a plan, but it's Andy who has to hatch it. I guess it's true what they say. Better dead than wed. Time for my finish. Now that's what I call bombing. Take my life, please. Poor Les. I know they say that college costs an arm and a leg, but this is ridiculous. Still, I think he'd have been happy to know he was part of one last food fright. Ah, I see we've reached a verdict. Members of the Gory, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty? What do you know? A hung jury. Poor Miles. Just when he's ready to take the hat on the road, he ends up on the Silver Scream. Still, I think he deserves another chance to get it right. You know what they say? If at first you don't succeed, die again. As for me, kiddies, I'm just about ready to go. Got my passport, my itinerary, and my ticket for the Concord. All I need now are my shots. Ain't travel a blast? Ooh, I guess that's a wrap for Reggie and Professor Finley. You know what they say, kiddies? Nephra, say Nephra again. As for me, I've got to get back to my corpse catalog and decide on a major. I thought about going pre-dead, but I think I'd be better at shriekonomics. I know they say blondes have more fun, but you gotta admit, redheads really know how to swing. So till next time, kiddies, I hope you'll excuse me, but I've got a little private business to take care of. It's the only way to fry. I've always wanted to join the Mild Die Club.
Today's been a real bitch. Oh, shit!
Looks like business is really booming for Carl and Gina. Talk about flame and fortune. You know, kiddies, there's something about this little tale that interests me.
Well, I'll be damned.
I think it's this actor. Yes. The others are good, but this one, we're talking a real bleeding man type. He's a regular gory Cooper, a Robert Redford. And that voice, I could swear it reminds me of someone I know. Well, at least in the end, Roger knew rot from wrong. If only he'd learned a little fester. You'll be happy to know, kiddies, that our story has a happy ending. Roger's company did very well. Its shares shot up on the New York Stock Exchange. So, have we made up our minds? You want bangs? Perfect. I have just the thing. Bang. That Lucy, what a cut-up! I bet she wishes she were the one on the chopping spree. Well, kiddies, looks like I've got to work myself out of a jam. 2 on, 2 out. The tie runs in scoring position. Spatter up! Yeah! What do you know? A double beheader! Talk about trial and terror. Still, I think Jerry will do just fine. I mean, aside from the occasional attack of motion sickness. And now it's time for business news. So, Chip, what happened on the stock exchanges today? Oh, sorry. Looks like it's time for the Spurts report instead. Oh, boy. I guess that's one way to wear a guy out. Still, I think Carl and Molly make a hell of a couple. I mean, talk about boo of a kind. Okay, I see your raise, and raise you 20. Call. Now that's a poker face.
Poor Rolanda. All she wanted was another shot. And that's exactly what they gave her.
Talk about character assassination. So what do you think, kiddies? Am I ready for Architectural Digest or what? It took a while, but this old haunt is finally coming together. Nice shutters over there. A lovely fright fixture over here. As a matter of fact, I've even started thinking of some new improvements I want to make. And I'm going to use the same contractor. I'm already taking bits. Poor Nelson. One minute he's in charge, the next he's aghast in his own home. As for me, kiddies, I'm afraid I've given up my water wings for dry land. My producers insist I get a little R and horror. Uh-oh, looks like I've got something. I just love eyes fishing. That Grunwald. One little problem and he goes right to pieces. At least now we know what's really eating him. As for me, kiddies, I think I've got my money problems licked. I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner. Talk about a killing. Everybody loves finger food. Hey, you want a side of ghoul slaw with that? Poor Zella. Tries to give his kid a shot, and it winds up going to his head. Which is better than if it went to his pocketbook. Because government needs to do morgue and ghost less. We have to make horrid choices and back them up with spending guts. We should demand that... Ooh. Now that's what I call a stump speech. I guess in the end, the choke was on the girls. Choke hold, that is. I don't know about you kiddies, but my money's on Aubrey. I think she's a little fester to the punch. Well, you know what they say? The scream always rises. There, all done. Now I'll have a little eggnog, listen to a few holiday tunes, and wait for Santa Claus to come. Maybe I should throw another Yule log on the fire. I wonder how Yule will feel about that. Raise the tree and bring the ladder. 1, 2, 3. Damn! That Janet, she must be a hell of a cook. I don't know about you kiddies, but I found Simone pretty hard to swallow. Personally, I wouldn't have made them into a stew. I think Creep's Suzette would have been much more appropriate. Ready? Well, looks like I won.
Hey, what are you talking about? I am still here. Let's play again, come on. Double or nothing. Ha.
Take my advice, pal. Quit while you're ahead. Poor Clyde. I guess that's one 12-step program he could have done without. Still, you'll be happy to know, kiddies, that our story has a happy ending.
Clyde did manage, after a couple of years, to crawl a little way down the stairs, where he waited for Lily while she grew some. You know what they say? Age before booty. My next poem features a rhyming scream I think you'll find interesting.
Hey, why don't you sit down?
Excuse me, folks. Now that's beat poetry.
Poor Gary. Talk about being number one with a bullet. Looks like he'll be the morning man after all. As for me, kiddies, I guess I better start practicing what I preach. I got caught going a little faster than the speed limit, but the officer decided to let me off with a warning. See? It pays to know the ghouls of the road. Poor Ray. Well, at least he went out in a blaze of gory. Still, talk about a pain in the ash.
Hi, Crypty.
As for me, kiddies, I'm about skied out. Not that I didn't have fun, but these boots are killing me. Ow. Ooh. Oh, my. Now that's what I call the agony of defeat. That Charlie? And you thought he was mixed up before? As a matter of fact, I just got a card from Charlie. He went on to open a chain of private clubs for dismembers only. Oh, and Richard went into medicine, specializing in intensive scare. So, I've got a free chair. How about a little trim? I promise I won't take off too much. Shave and a haircut, 2 bits. The Colonel should be a little more careful who he picks a fight with. Still, I think he'll get used to being hunted for a change once he gets the fang of it. And if it doesn't work out, he can re-enlist in the Marine Corps. As for me, kiddies, I decided to get even with that bully by showing off some of my surfing prowess. I may not be able to hang 10, but I can sure hang 1. Looks like Willa's changing her school of painting from Art Nouveau to Ghost Impressionism. That'll get her into Ooze Who. Okay, kiddies, it's time for my big event. Wish me luck. Got it! Ah, the kill of victory. You know, I kind of feel sorry for Lou. Surely there's got to be an easier way to get an Oscar. I hope my story didn't scare you too much, Mr. Hitchcock.
Actually, I'm a very big fan of yours. If you want, you can tell me a story. I guess he knows the pecking order now. In the end, Mycroft just didn't make the cut. Then again, neither had Frank. I bet that's one sunrise Mycroft wishes he'd never seen. Well, kiddies, looks like I'll be staying in England for a while. I think we'll all enjoy the trip. And when we finally do go home, I'm sure we'll have lots of souvenirs. Shame about Lavon. She wanted so badly to be rich, but ended up just another poor girl. Still, you'll be pleased to know, kiddies, that the girls settled their differences and reopened the store as Ye Old Goriosity Shop. It's so nice to see a little family business that gruesome. As for me, I'm afraid a few of my investment strategies have gotten me into trouble with the IRS. Not to worry, though. The joke's on him. I'm about to make a killing. Looks like Sharon's due for a little career change. From writing novels to screenplays. But with a talent like hers, I'm sure she'll just grim and bear it. Now I know what's bothering me. You know the Zodiac never lies. You told me you were Sagittarius, but the truth is, you're Pisces. Well, Luger wanted a discharge from the army, and that's exactly what he got. Talk about a bleeder among men. I guess now he'd rather fright than snitch. Now then, let's see what you maggots are made of. About face. Parade march. Hut, 2, 3, 4. Hut, 2, 3, 4. Present arms. Now that's what I call active service. Poor Nick. Perhaps if he had had reservations, he wouldn't have checked in. Maybe next time he bumps into the girl of his screams, he'll expect her.
Begin launch sequence.
Gotta go, creeps.
2, 1.
Wow! What a massacre! I guess Cammy and Ford won't be joining Jimmy's Fang Club anytime soon. Still, I do see a little blight at the end of the tunnel for them. If Ford's new look grows on her. So, how's our struggle with wife and death? Are we happy? Looks like they'll be headed for Divorce Corpse instead. Poor Daniel. I bet he never thought he'd get such a kick from falling in love. At least in the end, he did the writhe thing. As for me, kiddies, I've got to get back to my game. I've been on quite a winning streak. Now that's what I call a service break. Poor Elliot. Thought his field was physics. Turned out it was diology. And that's not the worst of it. Elliot only read the first part of Tim Rack's book, where he tied up Ariane. If Elliot had read a little further, he would have seen Tim Rack's chapter 2. I've got to get back to my planting. I've already sown the scarrots and the turnips, which means I've got just one more crop to put in. Squash! Squash! I guess Barry didn't realize the ad campaign would be his. Still, it's good to see that he's grown into the job. So, everyone agrees to the truce, except you. You know what that means, don't you? It means I have to kill you. Take that! That's why they call me the offer you can't refuse. Poor Jonathan invites his daughters to stay with him and ends up aghast in his own home. I guess he knows now he'll never tear them apart. As for me, I think I'll do one more number, then call it a night. Now that's a 6-string guitar. Too bad about Warhol. If he had kept his mouth shut, he wouldn't have gotten ahead of himself. Still, I think prison might work as a career move. I hear great things about their chop placement. Well, kiddies, your condition isn't as bad as I thought. A prescription for difocals should do the trick. Otherwise, your eyes are perfectly fine. Want me to put them back in your head for you? Poor Glenn. I hope his Boo Cross policy's in force. Sounded to me like he got in his screamium just in time. So, how will you be paying today? Now that's a charge card. Woo! I don't know about you, kiddies, but I was glad to see the wolf hit one out of the pork. Still, an hour from now, he'll be hungry again and bacon for more. You'll be happy to know, creeps, that it looks like that opening I told you about has been filled. Once we hammer out a few creative differences, that is.